Disruption at the ports due to the ongoing strike by freight forwarders is a situation that Nigerian Shippers Council is watching keenly. The Executive Secretary, Honorable Emmanuel Jime, met with the leadership of freight forwarding associations and was able to extract a promise from them to, in a manner of speaking, sheath their sword. They agreed to allow the clearance of general cargo continue while the Executive Secretary does his consultations with the relevant agencies. That's a very important matter that the shipper is monitoring closely and will keep you posted. Now to the main subject of today's program. It's a running battle from which the stronger will emerge winner. We're talking about the battle to clear the perpetual traffic around the ports. For those who do business in the Apapa axis, things are gradually getting better, but we are not quite where we should be. And therefore, port users still groan about the negative impact of congestion at and around the ports. Many problems have been identified as being responsible for the slow vehicular movement, especially trucks to and from the nation's ports. One of such problems is the prevalence of illegal checkpoints that has become a cash cow for some persons. The good news is that there are strong indications these checkpoints will soon disappear because efforts are being made to dismantle them. We have details of how this will be achieved on the program after this short message. Please stay tuned.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B with a measure within on a needle. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem where shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily lane. Papa email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
For you, we dey gidigba,
Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting now for the port of Nane.
Welcome to The Shipper, Nigeria's most reliable public enlightenment television program on maritime activities, brought to you by Nigerian Shippers Council. My name is Rekia Zikru Yagboyaju. The call for those behind illegal checkpoints to dismantle them has continued as part of discussions at a stakeholder forum held in Lagos at the instance of Nigerian Shippers Council. Abike Idowu covered that meeting for The Shipper and brought back this report presented by Lucy Ulube.
Nigeria is largely an import-dependent economy where thousands of goods find their way into the country. These products are distributed to other parts of the country by various means of transportation. More than 85% of these goods are distributed by road. Over the years, this has led to congestion at the ports and its environs as the trucks navigate the roads. The trucks are heavy and the drivers contend with deplorable roads, among other problems at the ports.
They made use of live bullets, AK-47 to be specific, and they shot sporadically at different occasions, and they scared away truckers and removed people's trucks from the access road. People that want to get to the port and do their lawful business, they were forcefully removed despite having paid the mandatory A2 call-up payments. So this we found very pertinent to communicate with the authority, Shippers Council, MPA, to address these issues because it's continuously happening and it has been eating into our finances, so to speak. An average trucker is not being able to maintain his truck. An average trucker is not being able to organize his business because you remember that these trucks, they ply on the road, and if they are not satisfactorily able to operate effectively, there are bound to be accidents, there are bound to be incidences where lives might be involved. So the finances of a trucker is very, very important as well. So bringing in different policies from left from right and policies from a sort that will take everybody unawares and making us to part away with monies. And most of these truckers went behind and moved the trucks at a given price. 100,000, 200,000, but we took it upon us to write officially, and we secured the release of some of these trucks at a fee of 20,000 to 50,000, which was paid to the government account. We made sure of that. So in that view, they called for a meeting to know more about the background of the happenings so that they can hear from the horse's mouth as well.
Another major problem truck drivers face is extortion by operators of illegal checkpoints.
One of my friends used to say that truckers have been turned to ATM. So the extortional tendency and the high-handedness. Sometime last week, we were fully involved in their operation. They went at Yanera. Trucks that were queuing to go and load empty containers from MSC CFA's terminal there. They came there and drove all of them away. I mean, they drove the vehicles, not they pursued them, and drove the vehicles to their own holding base to charge them that they were causing us. Even they caused some of them to break down, caused some even to fall on the road. And once any truck falls, they abandon it there. You see a truck with very minor fault, which can be rectified in 5 minutes' time. They will not allow the driver to do or have any access to his truck beds just to pick the truck for the sake of making money of towing, or even whether they tow it or not, they say they have towed it. Before you know it, you get a oral bill of 250,000, 300,000. And if you are asking for written bill, nobody will give you. They will make it difficult for you to come and bid and bargain with them so that you part with the money physically. Everything has been turned to money making.
This development has remained a source of worry to regulatory agencies like the Nigerian Shippers Council (NSC) and the Nigerian Ports Authority (NPA). This stakeholders forum, convened at the instance of Nigeria's Port Economic Regulator (NSC), was to sanitize access roads and stop the extortion which has been getting out of control, as explained by the Director, Consumer Affairs Department of the Council, Chief Kajitan Agu, who represented the NSC boss, Honorable Emmanuel Jime.
The people that will say they are for enforcement, why can't they remove these people even from the road? Let us see only them. If they are sincere, they only have the power to go and harass the truckers. But the other non-state actors, they are there. Eh? People that are armed and people that are not armed. No. We need to do something. No. We must do something.
For the boss of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Mohammed Bello Koko, who was represented by Principal Manager, Tinkan Island Port Complex, Emmanuel Anda, all non-state actors should vacate the ports and port access roads.
Whether they are sponsored by state actors or not, need to be cleared from the road. I don't know where they are, but practically I have seen them in action just a few weeks ago up till now. We maintained one lane from MOB, from Liverpool, all the way to Mile 2. For 3 days it worked. The 4th day, they had created another line. So I asked the truckers, is it that you guys don't like orderliness or what? This is one lane that moves. You know it moves. Why are you creating another lane? And they said the non-state actors pushed them to that one lane and even threatened and beat them at night if they don't want to move. So it's getting ugly.
Representative of Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, Lastma, stated that it is the duty of the Nigeria Police to look into the presence of these non-state actors.
The Nigerian police should be invited in this meeting to come and bring in their point and what they are doing. They've come up with some of these things at the ministry. We invited the police. We wrote a letter to Nigerian police to please look into that because that's not our own schedule. But right here in the port axis, sir, we are not going to condone any act of indiscipline from any transport owners. We are killing the economic of these states if we allow this thing to continue like this.
The Assistant Director at the Lagos State Government Ministry of Transportation, Olayinka Olawole, charged the Abandoned Vehicles Committee to rise to the challenge by clearing abandoned vehicles, adding that those whose vehicles were impounded should ask for tickets.
The major thing is queue. When you are on queue, as we are coming to our papa, see, they are all in the same queue. But you see some that will leave that queue and follow another lane. If somebody is even directing you to follow that place, You have to say, no, I must follow the queue. If you are on that queue, somebody will now come and enter your truck. And how will he drive such vehicle? I tend not to believe that. He said the Lastma will just come, a truck moving. He will enter, ask the driver to come down and enter. They are human beings like us too. I don't believe such thing will happen. And if such happens, try to have a video evidence to prove that. Yes, you take your phone, the world of technology, you take pictures as evidence.
While suggesting solutions to the underlying issues, the Director, Consumer Affairs of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Chief Kajitan Agu, urged Comtua to train truck drivers and truck owners to recognize the red flags that can lead to extortion.
This one is for truckers. You know, you should also go and enlighten your members. And tell your members to shun giving bribes. When they want to extort you, say no. If they tow your vehicle, insist if you know that actually their vehicle is towed. Go and pay the fine. Now, don't negotiate with anybody, because that negotiation will equally lead to extortion. Issue of broken down trucks. We are also going to monitor that one. When your trucks got broken down, alert the nearest Lastma officials. Try to tell them, my truck has broken down. I'm trying to get Lastma people to come and remove it from the road. You know, you are there with them. So those people report to them. If you do that and they tow your vehicle, the law say you should pay the towing fee. But if you abandon your vehicle, they will charge you for both.
According to Chief Agu, the electronic call-up system has substantially addressed the problem of gridlock along the Apapa Port access roads. He went on to suggest that stakeholders devise efficient ways of utilizing the call-up system.
So ETO is supposed to recognize the size of the terminal. And based on that, they will make a call-up. Once the terminal is full, no truck leaves their garage. It is only when space is created now. If 10 trucks now leave the terminal, you send another 10 trucks. If 50 trucks leave the terminal, you send another 50. That's how it's supposed to be. And if it happens like that, the issue of who abandoned his truck will not arise. The issue of somebody now blocking the main road and the truck being towed, they will not arise. That's the way I see it.
While stakeholders understand the essence of the electronic call-up system, it is not without its loopholes and setbacks.
The current structure has taken about a year. So the organization is still trying to close in loopholes and gaps noticeable in the process thus far. But the gaps are not entirely that of MPA. We are in collaboration with Lagos State Government. We collaborate also with truckers and also stakeholders in the industry. So everybody needs to play his role, diligently so that those gaps can be closed.
Extortion doesn't just come and say I'm extortion. It's a question of a situation that brings about frustration. When a driver is frustrated, even out of his own will, out of his own pocket, he may just want to do something to relieve himself. However, we'll continue to encourage them, educate them, and like we are doing, although it's not very much encouraged that we should do it violently. You see some trucks, when they refuse to compromise, they block the road. We are not encouraging that, but we shall do as much as we can to educate them.
This is not the first time that stakeholders are coming together to discuss fresh ideas to stop the illegal activities around the ports. Those who attended this meeting agreed to meet again to examine progress made on resolutions reached. They are optimistic that what is needed to sanitize the sector is commitment to develop Nigerian ports as the maritime hub of the West African sub-region.
The battle may be long, but in this case, the side on the right also has the might. The shippers have the full support of government, and so they will win. It is actually in the interests of every single one of us that the congestion around the ports is consigned to the dustbin of history. It's now time to shift base to the Tidbits Corner, where Oluwasegun Aloko is standing by to tell us, among other things, what is going on with freight forwarders at the ports.
Following the commencement of evaluation system by the Nigerian Customs Service, the Freight Forwarders Association operating at Tinkan Island Port and Port and Terminal Multipurpose Limited (PTML) have protested over alleged increase in import duties. Members of the associations who spoke with the shipper supported the introduction of evaluation system, but kicked against the collection of outrageous import duties by the Nigerian Customs Service. This, they said, is a detriment to their business. In a continued effort to curb corrupt practices at the nation's port, the Port Standard Task Team, PSTT, led by Mr. Moses Fadekpe, embarked on a 3-day inspection visit to some terminals in the Tinkan port to observe how coordinated the terminals are prior to commencing a joint examination of cargo at the Tinkan port. The PSTT observed that most of the terminals have poor access control. To address this, the PSTT set up a desk where everyone coming into the terminal must register pending the implementation of biometrics identification. Mr. Fadekpe further sensitized agents on the guidelines for the joint examination of cargo.
We've just come here to see how we can work out certain things with you, the stakeholders, to ensure that we have a better operations in this terminal. And today, in APMT, examination starts 9 o'clock every morning, and it stops 4 o'clock. When we started, there are a lot of resistance here and there, you understand. Say no, but today, everybody is happy for it.
Concerns were raised and addressed during the sensitization.
The most porous terminal in the whole of this thing is this place we are. That's why I'm very, very much interested in that your security aspect. If you can do that for us. But as far as examination is concerned, I don't think any agent here does. Nobody complains about the way the customs and the NDL and everybody have been handling us. We don't have issues at all. We have to be very, very sincere with you. But the most important issue is this security issue.
The problem is not the crowd coming in, but lack of equipment. One, there's not enough equipment. You understand me now? Because I hear him telling you that 5 people push motor. If you have equipment, like the modern day terminals you used to operate, there will be such things. People will leave their office and come here because if anything happens, you pay the rent. In this area, you pay for not starting, and you will go inside there to go and push it by yourself, and you pay for forklift. They collect their money. In this kind of big terminal, we have only in this kind of big terminal.
They collect money for non-starting.
We have no starting, and you as a it's not his fault. Your seminar, he's trying. Wait, he's trying.
Hold on, you give me time.
Wait, that's what I'm telling you. Is in management. Hey, one out. Hello, one out. One, you pay for not starting. I think jeep is about 7,000, 10,000, and car is about 6,000. And after paying for that, you still go and get your labors. You pay for labor, you pay for forklift, you push the motor out. You understand me now? 2, manpowers. There are no drivers. No drivers. And again, you see, when it comes to duplication of jobs, you understand me now? One job will go through round table. We are in computer era now. You need to allow sometimes so that when you assess your this thing, immediately, like in this thing, you come to it, you take your delivery. But they still work on all this analog level, going round to round, extorting this thing, and do that thing. And sir, I want you to work on that, because if you work on that, you will not see people.
We've had you, and we've seen them. You know, I was trying to share something with my brother here in that book. That book I'm holding tells all the process for each terminal. And the time they should carry it out. When there are complaints, genuine complaints, just go to that desk, drop it there with your evidences. They will get to people at the back end. Those are people who are in the office. A lot of people are in the office programming things. They will come in there. Nobody will pay for what you did not create anymore. That's what we are saying.
It was another milestone for the Nigerian Shippers Council as the chairman, Next Generation Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, CIT in Nigeria, Jafar Bello, in company of senior members of CIT in the council, inaugurated the Nigerian Shippers Council chapter of Next Generation CIT at the NSC headquarters in Lagos on Wednesday, 16th February. Jafar Bello congratulated the newly appointed executives and call for the chapter to come up with innovative and creative ideas to drive the industry forward. The Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Shippers Council, Emmanuel Jime, has urged APM terminals to ensure that tariffs are tied to services rendered. He said this when he paid a courtesy visit to the terminal in Apapa, Lagos. Jime said when all tariffs edits are tied to services rendered, it will ensure that arbitrary charges are avoided. Jime further stressed the need for a customer care desk that would work with the council to handle complaints on service delivery. In Kaduna, the acting head, Nigerian Shippers Council's Northwest Zone, Alhaji Ahmed Yaza, in company of the Deputy Director, Kaduna Port Office, Mr. Paul Governor, recently paid a familiarization visit to the Kaduna Shippers Association. During the visit, Alhaji Ahmed Yaza reiterated the council's commitment as port economic regulator. The president, Kaduna Shippers Association, Chief Austin Achileke, thanked the NSC Zonal Office for its support to the association. He solicited for more collaboration between the Nigerian Shippers Council, the shippers in the state, and the management of Kaduna Inland Dry Port. Stakeholder support has always been a part of Nigerian Shippers Council's agenda. Here is a letter from a stakeholder. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the National Executive Council and the entire members of All Port Unified Freight Forwarding Practitioners Association, we write to appreciate Nigerian Shippers Council for your timely intervention and continuous support to us. We also appreciate you for your actions and quick resolutions to our various complaints brought to you. We look forward to a mutual and continuous good working relationship with your organization. Thanks for your usual cooperation. And here is a reminder to all regulated service providers to register with the Council via the website www.shipperstradedata.gov.ng. Now, let's say across to the global space for some maritime news. Dutch-owned trawler F.V. Madris, the world's second biggest fishing vessel, has discharged more than 100,000 dead fish into the Atlantic Ocean off France, forming a floating carpet of carcasses that was spotted by environmental campaigners. France Maritime Minister Annick Jardin called the images of the dead fish shocking and said she had asked the country's National Fishing Surveillance Authority to launch an investigation into the occurrence to determine if it was deliberate or an accident. International Maritime Organization experts on maritime security and the Djibouti Code of Conduct are participating in a regional training program on combating new and emerging threats to maritime security at the Jeddah Academy for Maritime Science and Security Studies in Saudi Arabia. The program aims to help participants prepare for a range of threats to the port and shipping sectors. These include terrorist attacks, piracy, trafficking of drugs, weapons, people, and wildlife. In the United States, the newest and biggest cruise ship in the world, Wonder of the Seas, has arrived in Port Everglades, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to begin offering cruises ahead of its official debut on March 2022. Vacationers of all ages have in store a combination of new adventures. The ultimate vacation will first set sail on 7-night cruises to the Caribbean and Royal Caribbean's private island, before kicking off summer vacations in the Mediterranean in May 2022. In November, Wonder will return to explore the tropical shores of the Caribbean and the Bahamas. Next is our complaints register for the week. A total number of 8 complaints were received. 2 have been resolved and 6 are ongoing investigations. Some of these complaints include fraudulent activities, failure of shipment, and demurrage. And that's it on Tidbits for this week.
From A to B, from A to B, from north to south, from north to south, from east to west, from east to west, from port to port, from port to port. You can ship your goods and feel good too. Oh yeah, Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency, and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos, or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
To round up on the shipper today, a reminder to all regulated service providers to register with Nigerian Shippers Council on www.shipperstradedata.gov.ng. It is compulsory. It's been nice sailing with you today on the shipper. Until we meet again, do have a swimmingly great week ahead. Goodbye.